Let's talk. One thing that you guys notice as players, they got the day off. What does that mean to a player when they're given the day off by the head coach?
Well,
because you get Tuesday anyway. That's league sanctioned. You get Tuesday, but you got Monday off.
See, this is something when I was in Denver. When we won, we got Mondays off. All we had to do is come in and get a workout in. It was on our own time, watch film, and other than that, we had no structured meetings, didn't have to worry about going out on the practice field, none of that. It was nice. And then, when we won, we got hat day. How about you, Lo?
What's hat day?
Lo, did you get hat day?
What's hat day?
But you said you had hat day for the whole week.
A hat week?
Well, the hat week when we won a big game.
That's
really?
big.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't even
but
have to
hat means a cap.
Right.
Really? Ball cap?
Oh, yeah, ball cap.
Really? Not like a stocking cap. You're going ball cap.
It's ball cap.
Was it?
He used to wear a
through-
helmet.
Was it team sanctioned, or did you get to wear anything you wanted?
It's team sanctioned.
Team sanctioned. You had to wear the team
Wear
cap.
your team hat.
Oh,
Go out to practice.
no, you can just go without anything.
Oh, you
okay.
Yeah, you didn't have to have a hat on.
No?
But we call it hat day.
And you don't have to
Hat
put
day's
those
not so
shells
bad.
on, because when you get the helmets on and something about having the shells, they're kind of similar to shoulder pads, guys want to start going a little harder. They start moving. So you're like, look, hat day, you got to protect the face. I love hat day.
You know, but also, though, Coach Allen said they called it in the locker room, the day off.
It's getting a little exciting there,
Yeah.
right? You get a win, you get
get two in a row all of a
Well,
sudden.
they better perform. If not, you're not going to get 2
Absolutely.
days off at all. Let's talk about the defense, because the defense has turned it up since the Raiders bye week. You take a look at what they did against Atlanta. They made it tough on the Falcons. And is this their best defensive effort this year?
You know, I think so. And what you saw is there were hits on the quarterback. Hey, they only got 3 sacks, but they were bringing it on every play. And you see it's the linebackers getting to the quarterback. That means they're bringing a blitz. That means they're bringing a 5th guy. They're making plays on the ball. That's what I saw most of the game. They were just really, they played with a sense of urgency for 60 minutes, and they were all bringing it.
Well, look at the pressure they're getting on the quarterback.
It was phenomenal, and I watched this, and they're only doing it with 5 guys. Yeah, you got your 4 down linemen, and you bring in 52, and he brings that mismatch, because now a running back is have to block Wheeler, and he's athletic, he's hard to block, and those front 4, the guys up front, are really starting to create a new line of scrimmage, and they're winning their one-on-one matchups. If you want to play in the National Football League, you gotta win your one-on-one matchup.
You were saying at the start of the year, Lo, that this team needs to score 27 points a week to have a chance to win. But are we starting to see the defense maybe make the game a greater margin for error? The offense doesn't have to throw 4 touchdowns out there every week. Maybe it's going to take a couple of scores and a field goal, and you got a chance?
Yeah, when you're playing against teams like Kansas City Chiefs, and you're playing against a team, Jacksonville, but when you're going to play against a team like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that has Vincent Jackson, a guy who was in San Diego, has some receivers that can run the ball, just coming off a big win against the Minnesota Vikings, a team that can play some decent defense, and they can throw the ball around, they got running game, you're going to have to score some points, and I think that's what Coach Allen was alluding to when he said, look, we got to get better in the red zone, and that's why Carson Palmer agreed, because they know who's coming in town this week, and they got to score some points.
This is a real big game for them. This is going to be a real physical ball club. Tampa Bay, their head coach, they bring it. They come after you for 60 minutes. This is one of those games you better bring your big boy pads, because you're going to wake up the next day real sore, and you better be ready for it.
The Giants, remember when they played the Giants, Romo?
Oh,
at the end of
yeah.
the game, the Giants were pissed because those guys fired out at their knees. They're like, he said, that's how I teach guys how to play.
Well, there you go. You are ready for some hard-hitting football come Sunday. We'll talk about that game with Tampa Bay a little bit later on. Straight ahead, we want to hear from you. The tweets are coming. Your queries, your questions for these two. Oh, we can't help but hear from the fans. Look at them in full gear. Oh, and this is Halloween week. I'm sure it's going to be great out there on Sunday, huh? Come early, come often. Raiders are winners. We'll hear from the Raider Nation next. That Lone Charger fan sitting in the middle. All right, Raiders press conference rolls along here for a Monday, and we ask for your tweets about what concerns you with the Raiders. Mr. Lopezi. Am I saying that right?
Lopezi like Wheezy.
Exactly. Concerns have to be the running game and how non-existent it is. We have a top 5 running back, and we're wasting his talent and best years. Manuel says the run game needs to get going early in games rather than in the 3rd or the 4th quarter. So the running game seems to be an issue for some of the Raider Nation. Ashley says too many points left out on the field. Still need to work on the red zone efficiency. I think everyone agrees with that, including Dennis Allen. Then Natalie says, One who stands out as needing the most improvement, Greg Knapp, offensive coordinator. All righty, so there you have the information from the Raider Nation. Welcome in, press conference live. Jim Kozimor, Bill Romanowski, Lorenzo.
Wow, they get a couple of victories?
I know, and
they get a couple of victories?
You've got to get better.
They want more.
They want perfection.
You've got to get better, Bill Romanowski. You can't live on your laurels, sir. Let's start with third down conversion. Is that a fair assessment? You've got to get better on third down.
You know, if you win on third down, you usually win the football game because, you know, and that's a situation where that's where you need more of those, what I call efficient runs. An efficient run is a run of 4 or more yards. And, you know, you saw early in the game, they were getting, you know, stopped for a yard, no yards, 2 yards. And those big runs didn't come till the, you know, end of the third quarter, fourth quarter. So you got to get, you know, more yards early will help Carson, will help those first down conversions.
All right, let's
got to catch the ball, too.
Let's move it to the red zone area because this is an area 1 for 6 against Kansas City. The red zone, you can't just come away with 3 points every time, Lo.
You can't because you're going to play teams that can score points. Right there, Moore's got to catch the ball. Even though he's that guy, he's a big-time receiver. You know, Carson said one of the best that he's played with. That right there hits him in the hands. You got to catch that ball. Everything was good to the ball got there. Right here, you know, in the red zone, you know, right now you got Jam right there, but Higgins got to get open. You got to make that catch right there. Quick little slant. They got manageable position. You got to catch the ball. Right here, it's a stop route. Receiver keeps going in the end zone. It's miscommunication between Palmer and the receiver. You can't do that if you want to win in the National Football League, especially on third down. You got to convert those threes. You know Ganikowski's going to make those 3 points, but you need 7 points, especially in the National Football League.
Let me ask you about the running game next, guys, because this is an area where in the third and the fourth quarter it got rolling, but why is it taking so long? Why are we seeing so many of these carries where Darren McFadden is going backwards or maybe getting to the line of scrimmage and you're happy with that? Why is the running game faltering?
I still say it's the offensive line is still trying to get comfortable with this scheme. And, you know, for that guy that had something to say about Greg Knapp, hey, Greg, that's on you. That's on the offensive coordinator. He's got to get the most out of this offensive line. He's got to get the most out of this offense. And part of that is a scheme. The scheme has failed the Oakland Raiders to date, and they need to fix that.
All right, let's look ahead at this Raiders team trying to get better. The NFL, because of Hurricane Sandy that is sweeping through the East Coast right now, they've taken the trade deadline, which was supposed to end at 4 o'clock on Tuesday, and moved it to Thursday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Same thing with the start of waivers for vested vets.
What does a hurricane have to do with the trade?
Well, they're trying to make sure they're safe, Bill.
What does that have to do with it?
Offices are closed, so they're home. Everyone's trying to be safe.
Right,
so
in this case, the guy has to fly in. Maybe they want to put physical and check you out, Bill, make sure you're intact before they make the trade, the big trade let down. So I think the Raiders...
What do you do, though? Do you think the Raiders are active? 2 extra days.
You know what? If they have an opportunity, they heard Coach Allen. He's saying if the need presented itself, would find it. But right now, who do you get rid of? Who are you going to cut? It's tough with trades because your team is starting to gel right now. I think right now the Oakland Raiders need to be focused about one thing. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Say, guys, it is what it is. We're right here. We're in the thick of things. It's not about Denver. It's not about the Chargers. Right now, it's about us. Let's just say, guys, and this is the Raiders should be thinking, right now, the season just started. It's a brand new season. All you have to do is win. It's an 8-game season right now, and guess what? You're right in the thick of things. All we do is win right now, and guess what? We'll get what we need to get. Don't worry about your competition. Just win.
I'm going to challenge that. I think they need to coach opposite the way they feel.
All right, explain what you mean by that.
And we've talked about that. When you win, you know, everyone starts feeling good. Hey, they got the day off. Well, guess what? That's when Vince Lombardi used to go even harder when they won. Well, you lose a game, that's where all of a sudden you start looking at all the things you probably should have done better. Well, that's when you ease up a little bit. Well, the Oakland Raiders, they won yesterday. Now, Coach Allen, Wednesday, bring it hard, bring it furious, and bring it all day, you know, bring it all week long. I want them to go into the Tampa game feeling like they got their butts kicked, you know, against Kansas City.
Feeling like the hard part of the week was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, not the hard part of the week when Tampa Bay lines up against you on Sunday. You want that to be the part where you really execute and get the job done. It is a big chore coming up on Sunday for the Raiders, trying to get to 500, taking on a good Tampa Bay team when we continue. A lot of celebrating going on in the Bay Area over the last 24 hours. Let's say the Raiders were to have a run in this second half of the season. What type of celebration would we see for the Raider Nation? What would we do if the Raiders won the Super Bowl? We'll find out straight ahead as the Bay Area celebrates. Raiders Press Conference Live continues here on Comcast Sportsnet California. Next opponent, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And on Thursday Night Football, they went into what they used to call the Roller Dome in Minneapolis, the Metrodome. And the Bucs beat up the Vikings, 36-17 the final. How about the combination of Josh Freeman, the quarterback, and the rookie Doug Martin? How good is this Buccaneers team? I didn't expect them to be this good. They play good football.
No, they're a real good team. They're physical, and they bring it. It all starts with the quarterback. The quarterback's playing well, but the quarterback's got weapons to throw to. Vincent Jackson is clearly one of the best receivers in the National Football League.
He's got two good receivers.
Yeah, so.
And running backs that can pound the ball.
Playing good defense.
So you got to stop them. That's the end result is you got to stop an
Absolutely.
offense that can be pretty darn potent, scoring 36 against Minnesota. Let's move it along because Jamal Charles was a good running back for the Chiefs heading into that game. Guy can churn some yards, he can get some big carries. But his Sunday didn't go so well as the Raiders were able to take this guy. He averaged 19 carries a game, had 5 carries for 4 yards in this game.
They went into this game saying, guess what? One of these quarterbacks, you know, they thought it was going to be Brady Quinn, but Brady Quinn's going to have to beat us because we're going to stick 8 or 9 in the box. We're not going to let you run the football. You're going to have to beat us throwing and prove you can throw the football. And that's what they did, and they were able to pretty much dominate the line of scrimmage.
Can they do this to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers rookie Doug Martin?
No, you can't do that. You can't play with 8, 9 guys in a box against Tampa Bay. They'll blow the roof off the building. You got those 2 big receivers. They're both over 6'3", big guys, vertical, go downfield. You got to play that cover 4. You got to play, zone. You got to make sure that they don't beat you with the run, but they don't kill you with the pass. Shut down the run, but I think you got to play a lot of zone against this Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and every now and then give them some field blitz.
Allow them to take the taxi to the end zone. Don't let them take the airplane.
No
Really?
question.
Yeah.
All righty. If the Raiders get the win, they get to 500, and a lot of confidence around here, around these parts. And there's certainly a lot of confidence around here. There's high expectations. The San Francisco Giants in Major League Baseball have set the bar for all Bay Area teams. They win their 2nd World Series in 3 years, and the celebration last night throughout the Bay Area and primarily in the city of San Francisco, people in the streets until the wee hours of the morning. So let's fast forward. Let's say the Raiders get hot and find their stride, and they go to New Orleans and they win the Super Bowl. What would Bill Romanowski do if the Raiders won the Super Bowl?
How about I do something that I haven't done in 30 years? I'd eat a Big Mac.
You haven't had a Big Mac in 30 years?
Never.
Really?
I don't eat
You'd
fast
eat a Big
food.
Mac.
I'd eat a
We'd
Big
bring
Mac.
it in here. If they win the Super Bowl, we'll be here on press conference, and you'll eat.
And I'll do the show naked.
Wow. Well,
I'll
look
do
at
the
that,
show
people.
naked.
Wow. You know what, Bill?
That's exciting.
I'm not going to one-up you, but I'll just join you. I'm eating Big Macs every day because if I don't eat a Big Mac or 2, I get headaches. If I don't get my pork and my beef, and my blood pressure goes up. So I'm sorry, Bill. I can't follow you there. But maybe I'll eat some tofu. And you know what? I guess we'll go shirtless. We'll all go shirtless and do the show.
Shirtless.
Even you.
I'll do it.
Yep.
And a Speedo?
And a Speedo.
I'll do a
Speedo.
Speedo,
We're doing
shirtless. We'll do it
Speedo.
all
Yours
the way.
will be pink.
Pink.
And you know what I'll do?
Then I'll make yours hot red. How about that, Bill?
I'm going to
take
go
it.
cotton candy colors mine.
Cotton candy. There we go.
Cotton
And I will
candy?
tell you this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ghost ride my whip down Hegenberger, and you guys can sit in there.
Wow.
How about that?
How about can we go Gangnam style?
We'll go Gangnam style.
style.
We'll go Gangnam style.
Gangnam style.
And with shirtless, with Speedos on, if the Raiders win the Super Bowl this year. But the big key is now is we go from having fun to serious. Can they beat the Bucs? Can they get to 500?
Absolutely.
What do they have to do?
You know what? I think what they got to do is they got to win the turnover battle like they did this past week. They got to fly around with play with a sense of urgency. Carson Palmer's got to play the game of his life, and it's time for Darren McFadden to start strong and finish fast.
I totally agree. This is how they got to win. The key is very simple. You got to win with the front four and your integrity of the linebackers. You can't bling the house. Do that. Stop the pass. Don't let them run the ball, and they'll be fine.
I thought you'd be impressed with Ghost riding the whip.
Oh, we
So
want
long, everybody.